Hello guys, in this video I am going to show you how you can create a pretty cool photo montage. I am going to select this texture that you can see here for different walls. I'm going to select this one for the floor. I'm going to combine with this beautiful skyline, this guy painting a graffiti, and the result is going to be something like this. Okay, let's start. Okay, the first step, I'm gonna go to Photoshop, and here I am going to create a new file. The file size, you can select here the art and illustration, and then I am going to select here the width. I'm gonna put here 4,000 pixels. And then by the height is going to be like 2,000 pixels, kind of pretty big. Okay, and then just select create. Now I have this, and now what I'm going to do, I am going to create kind of a perspective. That is the idea. I'm going to open the final result just to show you the perspective that I have there. Okay, if you see, it's very nice. It's a little tilt and looks very dramatic as well. In order to build those perspectives, there are different ways. You can copy the perspective from a room that you can find in internet, or there is one method that I'm going to do here. I'm gonna go here and create guides. From the view menu, I'm gonna select here the guides, and I am going to select here new guide layout. And from the new guide layout, I would like to create here just 4 columns, but I don't need a gutter, okay? Just 4 columns that I can see there. And then I'm gonna put the rows also in 4 columns like this. And then I don't need a gutter there. And click OK. And this is going to help me to create that. And what I can do, I can select my brush tool. Okay, and here I'm gonna create the window on the background. For example, let's say I'm gonna start from here. This is 1 point. If you hold on the shift and you click, for example, let's say around here, I am going to just click, you will create a line. You see, that is pretty cool. All right, and then I'm gonna go, let's say around this area, holding the shift, and you can create another line, another click, and then go to the beginning, another click. Now I have to create, for example, this line. I'm gonna start from here, and it's going, let's say, around this area, holding the shift. Then another click here, and let's say I'm gonna go up to here, holding the shift, then another one here, and let's say around this area, around there. And then this one, click here, I'm gonna go all the way up to that corner. Yes, that looks kind of nice, looks like the perspective that I want. Now, if you don't need the lines, the grid any longer, I can go here to the view, select guides, and then select clear guides. And now I can start building the whole thing. In order to build this, I am going to use the filter Vanishing Point. From here, I can go here to the filter menu and select Vanishing Point. I'm gonna create the left one first. What I can do, I can just select here. I'm gonna do one click, something like this, 1 click and 1 click. And then I'm gonna pull this one like outside. I have to zoom a little out as well. Yes, that is looking good. Maybe a little more up to follow the same line. I have to adapt on this part. And then just double checking this one is here. Yes, it's looking good. And now look at this. To create the second one, there is one method that is pretty cool. If you're working in Windows, hold down the Control key. If you're working on a Mac, hold on the Command, and the center handle here, click and drag to the right. Look at this. It's super nice. It's going to create a 90 degrees. And now release the Command or release the Control key, depending on which operation system you are using. And now you can see I have this wall and I have this one. Now, hold on the Command again, or Control, and click and drag to the right this one, and look at that. Super nice, and just go here outside. Hold on the Command again, and click and drag this one to the left until you go up to around there. Perfect. Release the Command or the Control. And I am going to pull this one towards to me, and the one on the top, I have to select this wall, hold on the command again, and click and drag to the left until you touch the other grid, like this. Perfect. If you hold on the shift, you can select all the grids at the same time, and this looks like a room. It's looking pretty good. All right, I am going to deselect. And now what I would like to do, I would like to create a window on this part. One click to select this grid, and from the center top handle, I'm gonna click and drag down around here. Yes, maybe a little less, something like this. And now what I'm going to do, this I had to move to the left. I'm gonna move a little down. Hold on the command again and click and drag to the left. You can see kind of a area there that is the top part. If this one disappeared, don't worry, because then you can select and you will see it's there. I'm gonna zoom a little more to see it. And now what I had to do, I had to pull this one towards to this direction because I have to create a column on this area. Without the command, just click and drag. I know the arrows looks like a left and right, but will work if you do this. Can you see that? Okay, let's say around here. Now hold on the command or the control and go up. Look at that, it's pretty cool. Release everything. And now hold on the command or the control now again and click and drag this one outside. Continue holding the command or the control and click and drag up this until you touch the other grid. And without command, click and drag this one to this direction until you touch the end. Select this one, hold on the command, and click and drag all the way up to there. Yes. The only thing here, you have to zoom a little bit, and you have to see that everything is correct. Then you can press Command or Control 0, and that is going to show you the whole thing. If you hold on the shift, you can select all the grids. It looks super nice, this, and I'm ready to start importing the different textures. I am not going to select the background, which is this one, because suppose this is going to be a window. Okay, I'm ready. I'm gonna just click OK. That is the first part of what you have to do. Then the second part, I have to bring all the different textures. In that case, I am going to go here and I'm gonna open the wall. You can right click, open with Photoshop. Okay, and here I have to select this texture. I'm gonna go select all, then go to the edit menu and select copy. Go back to your photo montage, and here it's important that you have to create a new layer for every single wall. In that case, I am going to create a new layer. Okay, here I'm going to call this one right wall. And then what I'm going to do, you don't have to paste here. Do not paste here. What you have to do is go to the filter and select the vanishing point again. And here inside the vanishing point, here you have to paste. However, if you go to the edit menu, you can see the paste is gray out. But if you use the shortcut Command V as in Victor or Control V on Windows, you can paste. Okay, and it's there. But don't click on any part, just zoom out. You can zoom out holding Command minus key or Control minus. Zoom out until you see the entire texture. I'm gonna select this tool, the transform, and from this corner, I have to shrink this like this. If you click and drag, okay, look at what's gonna happen. I am going to click and drag. You can see it's trying to adapt to the different wall, and it's pretty cool. You can see. Okay, if you see this is in multiple surfaces, it's because you have active here, allow multi-surface operation in this menu. You see, in this part, just click there. You have to deselect that because if you have that selected, you see, something like this is going to happen, which is pretty cool, but this is not what I need. I am going to deselect the allow multi-surface operations if you have that selected. But also, I am going to deselect the clip operation to surface edges because I would like to see my handles. All right, and since this is going to be the right wall, I'm gonna put there. Okay, if you see that it's too big, what I can do, I can shrink it a little more, put on that wall. This is so cool. Put on that wall. I'm going to try to put exactly on the edges. I'm gonna shrink on this area until the blue line. Yeah, I believe like this. I don't have to stretch up to here. You can go just up to there because it's just the area that you're going to see. All right, beautiful. And now click OK. Okay, I have the first wall. Now I have to place the second one. Let's say the one on the top. I'm going to create a new layer. I'm gonna call this one top. And then I am going to go again to the filter, select here, vanishing point again, and paste. Command V or Control V in Windows, zoom out with the Control minus, select the transform tool, shrink this a lot, and then zoom in with the Command or Control plus. Click and drag over the top, over the ceiling, and here I am going to stretch this up to around there. The only thing that you have to be careful is if you zoom more, just double check you don't have any gap here, something like this. Double check you're touching the other texture and also at the corner there. All right, I'm gonna zoom out a little bit. I'm gonna stretch a little more to the left, and I believe that is working pretty well. And click OK. Now, I have to do the one on the left. I'm gonna put here new layer, double click. I'm gonna call this one left. I'm gonna go here to the filter, vanishing point again. But here it's going to be a little different. I'm gonna paste this, zoom out, transform tool, zoom in. Okay, I am going to drag perhaps in this wall here. I'm gonna shrink it like this, always touching until the end. Zoom out a little bit, and I have to stretch this up to there. Okay, but here, the only problem, I have to open the window. And I am going to show you one trick of how to do it. What you have to do, first, I am going to click OK, and I can see the left wall. But then I'm gonna create a new layer, an empty layer that I'm going to call this grid. In this layer, go back to the filter, vanishing point, and here I'm gonna select from the drop-down menu that I have here, click, and I am going to select here, render grids to Photoshop. If I click there, click OK, and look at that, now you can see the grid itself. However, it's a little difficult to see it. What I'm going to do, I am going to hide this layer because the idea is to erase that area. Here, I'm gonna use the tool, the polygonal lasso tool. I'm gonna zoom a little bit, and I am going to select from here. I'm gonna do one click. I'm gonna go all the way up to here. I'm gonna go down. Oh, that was too much. Sometimes this happens with this tool. You have to be very accurate. Click there, click at the end, then click here, and click on the beginning, click. And now I have all that area selected. Then what I have to do, I can hide the grid, I can show this, but double check the left wall is selected. And now in your keyboard, just press the delete key. And that is the way that you can open this area. Then it's very important to deselect. All right, now I'm going to place the other part. I'm gonna create 3 layers. Okay, the layer on the top is going to be 1, the second 2, and then the third is 3. I'm gonna select the top one, go here to the filter, vanishing point, and I am going to place, this is my number 1. Zoom out, paste, a little more, shrink it. zoom in, click and drag to place there. But here I have to stretch more, otherwise the texture is going to look too condensed. Yes, I believe something like that. And look at what you have to do now. You're gonna go here to the settings and you're going to select clip operations. And look at that, that is kind of a mask, and then just click OK. Perfect. Do the same for the number 2. Go to the filter, vanishing point, zoom out 4 times, paste. Always it depends how big is your texture, but I like to work with big textures because then when you stretch, it's going to look good. Oh, this one came out very nicely. All right, I don't have to do anything else. Click OK. When you, oh, but I have a little problem there that I have to fill that area. Sometimes if that's happened, what you can do with the layer selected, just go here to the edit menu, transform, and I can select here distort, or also scale works, but I'm gonna select distort because I can move this to the position that I want. You can see just a little bit, and this one is a little bit to the right. Yeah, something like that, and then commit with a check or press enter. Yes, that is looking good. Now select the number 3, go again, filter, vanishing point, zoom out, 1, 2, 3, 4, paste, T as and Thomas to transform, zoom in, 1, 2, 3, and here I'm gonna click and drag to this area. Here in this part, I don't like the result. I am going to deselect the clip operations. Yes, and I'm going to stretch this one a little more. Sometimes you have this problem that it goes kind of crazy. It's much better if you select from one area, zoom out a little more, then you have to stretch until the texture looks okay. Yeah, I believe something like that. If I zoom in, I can see the result. Yes, it's okay, no big deal. And then I have to go to the settings again, and I have to select the clip operation to surface edges. And then I'm gonna click OK. Perfect, I have all the walls. I'm gonna press Command or Control 0. Now, what I have to do, I am going to create a new one, a new layer, and I am going to call this one the floor. Floor, and then enter. I'm gonna open the file that is here, the floor. Right click, open with Photoshop. It's here, and now I have to do the same. Select all, then edit copy, go back here. I have the floor layer selected. I'm gonna go here to the filter. I am going to select again vanishing point, zoom out, paste, T as and Thomas, shrink it, drag to the floor, and here I have to be sure that is on the correct position. I'm gonna deselect the clip operations. Perfect, this one goes up to here, and then just stretch a little bit. And now just click OK. And here, in order to make order, sometimes what I do, I like to expand my layers panel. First, I'm going to expand the entire Photoshop. I'm gonna click on this green to expand the software. Now I have more real estate. And sometimes what I do, I just double click on the name of the panel because that can give me more space to see all my layers. Also, I can go here to the color panel. Look at that, I have a lot of space. Also, I can put different panels here on this area. Okay, I have all my walls. And now what I'm going to do, I am going to import the picture that is going on the background. I'm gonna select here my background first. I am going to select here File, Place Embedded. And then I'm gonna go here to the desktop and I'm gonna select Place. First, I'm gonna shrink it down a little bit. By the way, if you place and if you hit enter, you are not going to see the handles to shrinking down. But what you can do is go to the edit, transform, and then select scale. Okay, and then you're going to see those handles again. All right, I'm gonna decrease the size a little bit. I am going to put on this position, maybe stretch until I cover the entire thing. And here I have to rotate, but before I do that, you know, on my final result, if you see this, the lights come from the left, and that is my idea. In that case, I am going to flip the city, and it's going to look a little fake, but doesn't matter. What you can do here, you can see in this panel, you can flip the horizontally. If you don't see this little widget, also you can right click and you can select here, flip horizontal. Perfect. Then I'm gonna move to the left. Okay, and now what I would like to do, I am going to stretch a little to the right, like this, something like this. And then I am going to put my mouse outside and I'm gonna click and drag to rotate this. Now I would like to correct this picture. I can select different adjustment from the image adjustment. Okay, and there are other ways to apply adjustment. You can go here, this part, okay, but since this is smart object, it's an object that is not destructive. If you are going to apply adjustment, I can go here to the image adjustment, and from here I can apply, for example, brightness and contrast. You can move the brightness here a little down. You can add more contrast. You can see that looks a little more dramatic. Okay, you can start playing around with whatever you want here. Let's say something more like this and click OK. But I have to add the same contrast and colors inside. And for that, I have to start editing every single wall. If you want to work non-destructive, it's good to right-click and convert to a smart object everything. Okay, but working destructive is going to be faster. I'm going to go here to the image adjustment, and I am going to select, for example, here there are different adjustments. I'm going to select first the brightness and contrast, and here I can move the brightness if you want to make it brighter. Okay, I can apply more or less contrast. You can see you can continue playing with this until you have something that you like. Okay, let's say something like this, and click OK. You can see more brightness on this wall. I'm gonna select the top. I'm gonna go here to the brightness and contrast again. Okay, and this on the top, I am going to reduce a little bit more contrast, but I'll reduce a little bit the brightness. It's going to be a little darker like this. Then the one on the left, I'm gonna go again, image, adjustment, brightness and contrast. I can use levels, I can use curves, I can use different adjustment. But in order to show you one that is pretty quick, I'm using the brightness and contrast. I'm gonna select here the floor. I'm gonna go here to the image adjustment. This time I'm gonna use curves instead. Okay, with the curves, I'm gonna increase a little the light here, but on the back, on the shadows, a little darker. That looks more dramatic, that area, similar to the background. I like that contrast. I can use the Control or Command M as a Mary to open the curves. I'm gonna move this one around here to increase the texture and dynamic range. A little more light on that area. I'm gonna select number 2, same thing. And the number 3 is the one that I have more light, that I need more light, because it's the one that is more towards to the golden hour sunset. All right, can you see it's taking there on the right wall. I'm gonna go again with the Command M. I'm gonna reduce slightly like this. Yes, that is much better. All right, now what I'm going to do, I am going to start working with the dodge and burn tools. I'm gonna increase the size of my brush, something pretty big. Yes, a little bigger. Yes, like that. And then I am going to start dodging. What is the idea? First, on the floor, let's say on this area, I need a little more light. You can see the one that is almost outside. Yes, like that. Sometimes it's too much. If that is your case, what I can do, I can reduce the exposure maybe around 30, something like that. And then it's a little softer. It's not that dramatic. Okay, and then I'm gonna select this. This is the right. Start doing the same. Perfect, a little more light there. I'm gonna select the top, a little more light here on this area. Looking good. And then the one on the left. The left is a little tricky. I have to reduce the size of my brush. Okay, a little bigger. Oh, by the way, I use the brackets keys on my keyboard to increase or decrease the size of the brush. The brackets are the keys next to the letter P. Okay, I'm gonna add a little there on the border, maybe there, a little bit, maybe there, a little bit here outside of luminosity. Perfect. And then the number 3, a little more. Number 2, even more in this area that is here. Number 1. You can see dodging is very nice, the way that you're kind of painting with lights. Just continue adding on different parts, and it's going to look very nice. All right, now what I have to do, I have to start burning. In that case, I am going to select the other tool, the burn tool, exposure, let's say around 20 something. Increase the size here. In this area, I'm gonna add more shadows. You can see it looks like a darker on that area. Nice. Then on the top, a little bit, yes, on the top. I'm using the brackets also on that part that you have the angle, perfect. Then maybe a little bit here on the number 2, on this area, more towards to the border, a little bit. Number 1, the top part, a little bit. And then I'm gonna select here the top. I'm gonna burn, yes, this area I need a little darker. Also, I can increase a little more. That is softer, you have better control on that part. It's looking good. Then on the right wall, I am going to add a little more here, all this area here. Yes, that is looking good. I like that. I like to increase also a little more. Perfect. And now the floor, if I had to work non-destructive, this is more steps. That's why I'm doing this destructive way, because it's faster to do all the things. Okay, and I'm gonna add a little more here on the border. Yeah, I kind of like it, the result. Maybe a little more dodge here on the border on this part. I'm gonna create a new layer. I am going to do 2 things, light and color. First, for the light, I'm gonna select the polygonal lasso tool, and I am going to create something like this. Let's say I go from here, from here, from here, from here, and let's say you have light that goes something like this, and then go up to here, and then is creating that the column, okay, all this area. On a new empty layer, I'm gonna go here to the edit fill, and I am going to fill with 50% gray. Okay, you're going to see what's gonna happen. This 50% gray, I am going to change the blending mode to overlay. Okay, it's pretty much nothing happened because it's 50% gray. I'm gonna go back to the selection tool and deselect. But now, if I use, for example, curves, I'm gonna press Command or Control M. Okay, look at what happened. I can add more luminosity or more shadows. You can see it's depending on what do you want. Okay, and I am going to add more luminosity there. Okay, and it's looking pretty good. And click OK. Super nice. In addition, if I want this one a little blurry, what I can do, I can go here to the filter, blur, and select, for example, Gaussian blur. I'm gonna click here on the border, and I can increase this number until you can see it's pretty soft, and click OK, and that looks very nice. You have kind of the light that come from outside. Perfect. Then in addition, let's say the light comes from this window. I am going to do the same. I'm gonna create something that, let's say something like here, okay, that goes all the way to the right. Let's say up to here, perhaps. Let's say up to there, and then goes up to around here. And I'm gonna close. You see, let's say you have a light from the window, something like that. And I am going to repeat the process. This time I have to create a new layer. Okay, I'm gonna call this one light 2. And the other one I have to call light 1. But first I am going to fill from the edit, fill the 50% gray. Okay, now I can deselect. And I am going to here the filter, Gaussian blur, I have that, and change the blending mode to overlay. Okay, and then curves, and I can curve this. Look at that. And I can see that light on the floor. Super nice. Okay, and this one is going to be the light one. Perfect. Look at this, guys. It's very nice what you can do with just painting with light all those layers. Now, let's talk about colors. I'm going to create a new layer here all the way to the top. I'm going to call this one colors. We can tint. There are many different ways to do this, but what I'm going to do, I am going to select my brush tool. I'm going to open the color picker. And let's say I'm going to select kind of teal, something like this, a little darker. Okay, and with this, I'm going to increase the size of my brush. I am going to paint the part that are darker. For example, let's say this area, like here. We're going to change the blending mode, and you're going to see it's going to look much better. But just trying to tint the dark areas like this. Let's say this part. See, everything that is darker is kind of painting the shadows. Like that. And then I'm going to select another color. I'm going to click here. I'm going to select something like a teal or orange. Okay, maybe like this, a little darker. Kind of the same luminosity. If you see here, it has the same luminosity of the other one. And I am going to start painting the highlights. Okay, until the border of the... And you can paint this teal and orange. This is one way to do it. There are many other ways to do it, guys, to apply this color grading, but I am going to do this today. Okay, you don't have to paint here on the window, the part that you have transparency. And now I am going to change the blending mode to soft light. Okay, the difference here is very dramatic, okay, but I'm gonna go here to the filter, blur, Gaussian blur again. Okay, and here I'm gonna click on this part. I can see that transition, but I'm gonna increase a lot. And you can see the transition is softer like that. Okay, you can decide how much is enough. Now, what I'm going to do, I am going to place the person here and then the graffiti. This part, we have to make different decisions. What you're going to do with the graffiti. And what I did here on this part on the result, you can import with artificial intelligence, you can create those things. In order to do that, what I have to do is just create a selection. I'm gonna create a selection, let's say on this area, like this, okay? And I had to create here generative fill. You can click on this part, okay? And the first time that you click there, it's going to ask you to agree. And now what I'm going to do, I had to write a prompt in this part. Type here, for example, graffiti, and create here generate. Interesting. Let's take a look to this one, this one. Yeah, maybe I'm gonna keep this one, but I believe the other one, it was much, much better. And look at this, if I go to this layer, it shows me different alternatives. For example, look at this one, looks very nice. Also this one, okay, pretty cool graffitis. But for this case, it's not bad, it's just for the example. Then what you can do here, you can put graffiti, lettering, with words. Okay, let's say it's going to give you more alternatives. Let's see what happened with this one. Oh, this one looks way much better. I can take a look at this one, that one. Can you see? In my opinion, it's much better than the other one. I'm gonna keep this one. All right, now what I'm going to do, I am going to place the person that is there. I'm gonna go back to my move tool. I'm gonna go here to the file. I'm gonna select here, place embedded. And I have the guy in this part. I'm gonna select place. Okay, I have to reduce a little bit the size. Okay, I am going to flip here and I'm gonna put, let's say over here. I have to reduce maybe a little more and then commit. Okay, now what I have to do, I have to remove the background. How I can do that? What I have to do with the guy selected, I'm gonna go here to the select subject. You can go here, click on this bar, or you can go to the menu, select subject. Okay, sometimes Photoshop is going to do a very good job, okay, but probably here I have to improve the mask. In that case, I can go here to the select and select a mask. Okay, this dialog box is going to come up. You can see the entire Photoshop interface is changing. Okay, I have another video in this channel that I talk about a layer mask. Okay, if you want, you can check that video in this channel. All right, and then I can increase here the transparency. By the way, here on the view part, you can click there. I have the onion skin. Okay, and then I'm gonna increase the transparency, and now you can see the guy is there. However, I am not crazy about the result. I am going to do two things. First, I am going to zoom in, okay? And here on the select subject, I'm gonna click here, I'm gonna select cloud, okay? I suppose the method is much better. The algorithm, I'm gonna click there. That is going to remove that. It's going to create everything again. Yeah, it is much better. I kind of like this result. However, there is a few parts that I would like to improve. I'm gonna zoom in here on the back. What you can do, you can work with this tool, with the minus, okay? And here I can start removing all those little things that you don't like. You see that? You can start painting there. Then my idea is to hide the face, okay? I can just start painting on this part and I can hide. Okay, yeah, it's looking good. Maybe I'm gonna remove this part here. Okay, I am going to remove this line here as well. It's not great. Okay, and I am going to remove this part as well. Yeah, it's much better. Quite good result. I kind of like it. Yes, okay, here the sneakers, I have to paint there a little bit to have a better result. And here is okay. All right, erase this spray. Okay, I don't need this. And then here on the result, if you select the output, double check the output is here to layer mask. Click OK, and that is going to create a layer mask that you can see the guy is there. I'm gonna put the guy more close to the graffiti like this, something like that. And now what I have to do, I have to create shadows. Okay, and the guy has to look like he's there. And also I have to dodge and burn a little bit. Okay, since we import this image, it's a smart object, but I am not working with a smart object. I am going to just right click and I am going to select rasterize layer. Okay, and now I can dodge and burn. Before I dodge and burn, I'm gonna apply from the image adjustment curves, okay, a little bit, and maybe, I believe I have to reduce a little the light on this guy, something like this, okay, and I am going to start burning and dodging a few areas. For example, the burn, I have mid-tone 20, yes, that is okay, maybe this leg a little bit, the sneaker, the right part that is against the shadows, this part also to have a better transition there. Okay, and then I am going to dodge other areas here a little on the left. Yeah, something like that. I can continue and add more, but I believe that is good. Okay, now about the shadows, I'm gonna create a new layer. I'm gonna put underneath the guy, and this is going to be the shadow 1. Okay, I am going to zoom in, and here is a little difficult to create shadows, but let's see what we can do. The first shadow, I'm going to select my brush tool, something pretty small, okay, like this, okay, and this brush is going to be black, a little gray, okay, and also click on the color of the floor and something like this. Look at that color like this, maybe something like this, a little more red, okay, and I am going to change the blending mode of this layer to multiply. Okay, now I can start playing with the shadow. I'm gonna start painting here. This is just to show the guy is there, is standing on that area. You see, a very subtle shadow is going to be there like this. And then I have to do the same for these shoes. Okay, something very subtle, almost there. Okay, something like that. Yes, it's not bad at all. Yes, it's more like it's there. And then I have to create a second shadow. It's not that great there. I have to increase, but with the second shadow, it's going to blend much better. Shadow 2. Okay, and this second one, I am going to increase the size of my brush. Still this in multiply, but I'm gonna reduce the opacity a little bit. Okay, and with the brush, I'm gonna reduce the flow. Okay, here what means the flow, if I paint one time, second time, third time, you have more of that tint. Okay, and I am going to start painting here. It's in this part, let's say you can see the shadow on that part, trying to add more close to the shoes, to the sneaker, and I'm going to increase a little more the shadow, just something like this. Okay, I'm trying to add more shadow that goes towards to this area. Okay, always it depends on the shadow that you want, the figure. Okay, and here there is another thing that I believe I have to add. Look at this. Let me just add a little more shadow there. This sneaker looks a little fake. What I have to do, I have to go back to the guy. Okay, and I have to burn. I'm gonna select my burn tool. Okay, however, the burn tool, I'm gonna switch here to the highlights, and I can start burning here. It's gonna look a little darker, the white part. I had to add a little contrast also, but I'm gonna go here to the midtones as well. I'm gonna darker even more here. I had to burn a little bit more on the other sneaker, a little bit there. Yeah, you see that is more like he's there, not perfect, but you have kind of the idea, okay, of that. Then sometimes what I do, I create a new layer all the way to the top, and I'm gonna select here edit fill, and I fill 50% gray, and I change the layer to soft light. Okay, and now I zoom out and I select the burn tool, midtones, and here, let's say around 30-ish. Select a big brush, and I can start burning. You can see that is going to add an entire burn to the entire image. You can see, because if I show you this, I'm gonna hold down the option. I'm gonna click here. You can see I'm burning the layer itself. And since I have soft light, okay, it's going to apply that on the entire layer. Okay, then I can select also the dodge, because let's say the dodge, you want to add a little more light, you can see, in different areas. All right, it's looking good. Pretty similar of what I did. Okay, I kind of like here this bluish. I can continue applying a little more color on that area, but this is the final result. Please let me know if you like this video. Comment down below what kind of video you want to watch. I hope you like this one, and see you on the next one.